Hi, I'm Peter Kirn. I'm an artist and technologist, and I run a website called CDM, which is createdigitalmusic.com. And I get to be joined today with two guys who make the stuff that I spend a lot of my time using.
My name is Wahlforss and co-founder and CTO of SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Haver, CEO of Native Instruments, and we basically turn computers into musical instruments and DJ gear.
If we look back to the beginning of Native Instruments, actually, I mean, the things that you were doing with creating new synthesizers, I understand part of that was to be able to answer people wanting to make new sounds that people weren't necessarily making in music before.
Yeah, the truth is we wanted just to give the people new sound without having in mind how they're going to use it. So it's not our mission to create new genres, new music styles. It's just our mission to enable people to pick it up and do something meaningful with it. And luckily, often they do. And the other big goal of Native Instruments was to just give creation of music into many more hands. So basically the democratization of music is a big topic for us, because we believe a lot of people that had not access to the tools that you need to produce music, to make and produce music, they do it now, and there's a lot of talent out there that didn't have access, and it's just great that now so many more people can contribute, and that will also change the music because of different contributors.
Yeah, I mean, we literally see it, right? So we have, more than well over 100 million tracks on SoundCloud today, right? And we see the proliferation of new genres. We see, micro communities emerge. We have, the craziest, genres like chap step is one, baby metal is another one.
What is baby metal?
Super
like?
weird.
That's new to me.
It's actually a lot of it's sort of like a predominantly Japanese trend where there is this sort of like baby, it's sort of like baby voices, super strange on like death metal like backing. It's very very strange, and we see lots of these different things going on. And I mean, there's definitely just more of it, right? The scale is just is significantly bigger than 10, 15 years ago. So huge change there, and I think the way people relate to music is now different because so many people are co-creating, right? With the accessibility, just going up sort of orders of magnitude over time. It's people relate to music in a different way. There's a certain fluidity to music and accessibility to music that wasn't there before. So the sort of connection to be able to express yourself, your own identity, is much stronger today, and it's much more widely used than used to be before.
Well, more to a lot of people, I think, raises fear, right? People think more will mean worse, more will mean less good, or more might mean less care. If we have access to more music, maybe we care about it less, or we listen to it less, or it's disposable. I know that hasn't been my experience, but what would you say to people who have those fears?
I don't believe in that theory at all. Sorry, it's bullshit. There is people that know what to do with the tools you give to them and create great stuff, and others maybe less. But just because there's more, it doesn't mean that all the quality of the music as a whole dilutes. The challenge is, and this is what actually this fear expresses from my point of view, is that people don't find the good music anymore. And this is exactly the problem, and there is some truth in that, because there's this overwhelming amount of content coming towards you. Where is the good stuff? If you would find it, I would be sure we could all prove that there's a lot more amazing music out there today than it was 5 years or 10 years ago. But to find it is a bigger challenge. This is why you guys work on recommendation stuff. We do. Others in the industry do. We need tools to help people to find what they're looking for. But again, the quality is out there. It's just harder to find it in this huge bubble of content.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we actually just as of last week, we launched on iOS, coming soon on Android, our third generation music recommender that allows you to take any track and you just create sort of an endless experience based on that track. So you find one entry point, and then you can sort of explore from there. And I was actually using it sort of this weekend. I was just, reflecting on the last sort of 10 to 15 years, and just how different it is today. Like, you can discover, like 100 pieces of music that are, in the moment, like interesting stuff that's relevant right now, through essentially the assistance of, a social network and technology, an open platform in combination. And it's just, you can do that. Before you used to have to go to hard wax, in Berlin or something, and wade through, these records, and it took a long time and so on. It was sort of 100 times slower. And now you can do it very, very quickly, and you actually land on stuff that's super interesting and, good, because, there is, it's personalized and it's, relevant to you. So that's, again, that's a huge transformation.
Well, I already like this algorithm, because it found my music for you, so I think it's perfect. But if I understand this correctly, this is a good example of the human versus algorithm argument being essentially artificial, right? I mean, not only was this algorithm written by humans working for you, but if I understand it correctly, it's both trying to do it's both kind of the algorithmic curation, but also informed by the human curation people are doing. I assume that it's taking into account when I listen to tracks and when I kind of put together playlists of other people's music, or who's in my friends network?
Yeah, I mean, it's primarily drawing on the social signals from the platform, really, and the way people curate, and then it's just sort of aggregating and extrapolating based on that, right? So there's ultimately it's all human signal that's driving the recommendations. So, it's really just the computer kind of assisting you through the ecosystem in a smarter way, right? If you have over 100 million pieces of content, 12 new hours of content, much more than 12 actually uploaded every single minute to the platform. There's just so much content that you basically need this sort of assistance. But I think the power is really, the human curators are super important, and they are usually the ones who kind of originally discover the content and then, maybe share it with their friends. And then after that, it sort of lands into the recommendation kind of algorithm. Once there's enough signal, it starts to relate to all the other pieces of content that's already there, and that's when it becomes, relevant for the recommender as well. And so, it's just sort of unlocking the door into this sort of magical world of lots of content that you couldn't get to before,
So it sounds like more is good. We're all feeling like more is good. But the complexity seems like it's the thing that's the challenge. And it seems like that's the challenge in production too. We're democratizing these tools. They're not always the simplest things to use. And although some of that complexity is demanded by users, right? We come to you and say, well, we want your products to do this and this and this. How do you deal with that kind of complexity?
It's a continuous challenge. Because we definitely want to provide the most easy-to-use product. At the same time, we don't want to limit your creativity. And this is always a balance, because we can give you more features right on the first interface of something, but it may get a little messy. We can completely erase it or put it on a tab and, in the third layer, and you have a hard time to find it. So now, finding the right balance of what's really important to most musicians, what they really need, and the stuff that they don't need so much, to put that in the back. This is our job, to do that, to allow workflows that are meaningful and that focus on the stuff that is important without limiting you in a way that you can't do certain things anymore. It will just be more complex to do these specific things that most people don't want to do.
Well, finally, I want to ask about where we are. Last night, all three of us got to spend together having dinner in an ex-industrial site in the north end of Berlin, surrounded by everybody from engineers, startup leaders to beer brewers. What is this mix that's happening at Tech Open Air mean to you guys in terms of this combination of arts and technology?
I think it's two art forms, if you want, that belong together. I think what they have in common is creativity, people really thinking about the future in a different way and just putting it down, the one with tools of technology, the others with maybe not so techy stuff. Even though art and technology meet much more, because also technology is driving art to some degree, and we see it down here how it actually interacts and affects. I mean, in the music space, we all know that, you know, music is an art form itself, but even beyond that, technology and art go well together. It's not like, you know, there is a conflict there, but it's rather widening the scope of what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been personally, it's just been fascinating to you know, to observe how tech has sort of like infused itself into this vibrant place that is, you know, Berlin, and with everything that's gone on here for the last 15 years, and just how well it sort of plugs into that, and just how well it sort of completes that already kind of existing culture. And you know, I think it's just, there's still a lot of potential in this place. I see, you know, more and more people sort of moving here from all over the place. Like we have, you know, 35 nationalities at SoundCloud and counting, and we're, you know, getting more and more people to come here every day, and you know, certain people love this place. I mean, it's just, there's a magic that's you know, not anywhere in the world besides Berlin. So yeah, we're excited about Berlin as a, you know, city.
Well, it's been a pleasure to join you all here at TOA, and thanks to TOA for giving us a platform. I know we all have to get back to work, but thanks so much.